I tell people that their stories matter, and then I get I don't want to tell my story because I feel like it doesn't matter. So how hypocritical is that? So I think maybe in the future I'll have some episodes that are just some stories about my life. Funny stories, anecdotal stories, serious stories, life lessons, things like that. I've been all over the world. I've been blessed, extremely blessed to have traveled a lot. And not just with the military. I've seen a lot. And I'm not telling you this to validate myself to you guys necessarily. I'm just saying, again, I tell people all the time, your story matters no matter how mundane or boring you think it is. It's not. It matters to somebody because they can relate and they realize, I'm not alone. And your story is your story. Be proud of it. And I say this to you, and I need to say it to myself because I downplay my experience. I downplay the stuff that I've seen and done and gotten to do and been blessed to do. And I've got to stop doing that. So I think this year I'm going to continue interviewing people because I love their story. This is the Veritable Veteran Podcast, bringing truth and exposure to the struggles veterans and their families face post-military. Depression, anger, PTSD, suicide. Who am I? What do I do now? Hey guys, welcome back to the Veritable Veteran Podcast. I'm going to be honest. I'm struggling to come up with something to talk about today. Life has been interesting lately. There's been some opportunities presented to me that have caused me a lot of, I don't want to say stress. I mean, yeah, stress, because I've been thinking about what I want to do and where I want to go and what I want to be. And this opportunity was something that I did not expect to be offered to me. Pretty far outside of not my ability, just my, what I thought I would be doing. And it was offered to me. And I'm like super grateful that it was offered, right? I'm very happy that I was given the opportunity and I was thought of and I was considered for this position. It's just not something that I want. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just, I have a ministry. I have a platform here and I want to be here. I want to be doing this. And this does not pay as well as that opportunity would have. This does not pad my resume like that opportunity could have. But that's not why I do this. I don't do it to pad my resume. I don't do it to get rich. I mean, I'd love to make more money from doing this because then I could, well, I don't know. I don't make a lot of money doing this, just so y'all know. It's not like I'm, raking in tens of thousands of dollars a month. It's not the case. I find that I'm hesitant. So just a little bit about me. I have never been financially wealthy, which I'm sure that's not a surprise to anybody. There's been times in my life when I've been better off financially than others. I sat down one day with my wife and we were talking about winning the lottery. Because I think the Powerball was up to like $1 billion again. And it was, we were just talking about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go buy a ticket. And she's like, really? I'm like, no. And, we just started talking about why we wouldn't want to win $1 billion. Now, I understand some, would I say no to $1 billion? Probably not. But you imagine the difficult decisions you would have to make. I feel like that's why so many people fall apart after winning a bunch of money is because they lose all self-control because nothing is off limits to them. Literally nothing. If you had $1 billion, there's almost nothing you couldn't buy. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars add up to, $1 billion, right? And most things don't even cost $1 million. And now you have hundreds of billions. And it's just nothing is off limits. So people just start spending and spending and spending and spending and spending. And then uh, I don't know. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that stress. So when I say I'd like to make some more money, I don't want to get wealthy, like generational wealth money. Like, no, no. I'd like to make enough to pay off my house. That'd be nice. You know, not have any debt. That'd be nice. But other than that, and again, I'm just kind of, letting you guys know I want to be here. I want to do this. I want to talk with you guys. I want to interview people. I want to talk with experts and have them tell me the newest mental health treatments and the newest medical treatments that are helping people. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you guys have done, what you guys are doing. Like if you've started a nonprofit, like come on the show and talk. Like, guys, I'm not that big. Some people are like, oh, I want to get on his show, but I'm just so intimidated. Don't be. Don't be. I'm not that big. I'm not that important. Shoot me a message. If you want to be on the show, come on the show. And it's just, I just want to talk and tell stories and have people tell me what they did and what they didn't do and what they tried to do and what they failed at and then what they did and what they succeeded at. I want to hear it all. I just want to hear it. And this opportunity was, again, it came out of nowhere right before Christmas, and it kind of sent me off on a trajectory that, I was like, I felt like I wanted to do it. I was really excited about it. And then I started thinking about what I was going to give up. And, my wife was very supportive, saying, well, you could, you probably have time to do both. You could figure it out. Like, you just have to knuckle down and get a good schedule set. And I was like, yeah, no, I agree. And I worked at that and I thought about it and I prayed about it a lot. And my spirit was just never settled on doing both. In my mind, it was like, I'm going to have to do one or the other because I have a hard time dividing my attention. If I'm going to dive into something, I dive into it and I kind of leave everything else behind, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. But I mean, if you get me, you're going to get all of me, right? Or none of me if you don't get me. And I feel like over Christmas, I was really thinking and praying and just kind of meditating on it a lot. And it didn't feel right. Um, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stick with the podcast. I'm going to stick with my page, my platform, and keep advocating for veterans, advocating to their families, advocating to them directly. And this is what I want to do. And where does it go from here? I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't know. Honestly, I love making funny content. I love making serious content that people can relate to. And then I love getting messages from people saying, hey, your content really helped me. I was extremely blessed when I talked to people, in person, and they said, if I hadn't come across your content, I would have killed myself. And that it's hard to replace that. It means a lot. And it's very fulfilling to hear that. It's humbling. Because ultimately it's not my content, it's God's. I sat down and I sat here and I prayed and I prayed. And because of this opportunity, I've been distracted and kind of just not focused on this as much as I was before. And I was just praying, I'm like, Lord, I don't even know what to talk about. And, I've been another insight into me. When I start to get into something, I find books to read or listen to, audiobooks. I love to listen to audiobooks when I'm working, but I love reading and just gaining knowledge and insight into the things that I'm interested in. And I've been reading a lot of books on mental health. I've been reading a lot of books on trauma and, personal testimony books from people, from military veterans that have gotten out and done, great things. And I was focused on that. And then when this opportunity came up, it was going to require a lot of learning, a new topic, a new subject. And it was like, okay, well, I need to put these books on pause and go start reading about this and that and the other. So a lot of my content comes from reading those books, so I haven't been reading them. And I'm like, oh my word, I don't even know what to talk about. That's kind of where I'm at. But I want you guys to know I'm not going anywhere. I rearranged the studio today just because it's not Christmas anymore. Obviously, you can see I got my Bigfoot. He's back there hanging out by the sign. Old Sam Squitch is back there, and it'll be more conducive to in-person interviews as well because then I've got the space to set the chairs up, so Lydia and I can maybe spread out a little bit more so we don't have to sit with our knees touching, which I'm not against. I like my knees touching my wife's knees, but anyway, when if I have anybody else come into the studio, I don't think we need to be sitting with our legs intertwined. So that'll be nice. I'd also like to talk about other things outside of just veteran stuff, like just getting into parenting and my life in general. I've had some people encourage me to expand beyond veteran things just because I have a lot of, and I downplay it, but I have a lot of life experiences. I've been through quite a bit. I mean, other people have been through more, obviously. There's always somebody that's been through more or seen more, crap than you have. But I feel like I need to accept that I have a lot of life experience. I've got 6 kids. I've been married for 16 years. I was in the Marine Corps for 11 years. I was a police officer for almost 4 years. I was a basketball coach. I sold insurance. Um, I worked at the Salvation Army when I was younger. I worked as a custodian both before I was married, when I was still living at home, and then even after we lived here in Oklahoma. Just that was just an effort to make money, or to, provide. So I tell people that their stories matter, and then I get like, I don't want to tell my story because I feel like it doesn't matter. So how hypocritical is that? So I think maybe in the future I'll have some episodes that are just some stories about my life, funny stories, anecdotal stories, serious stories, life lessons, things like that. God, I've been all over the world. I've been blessed, extremely blessed to have traveled a lot, and not just with the military. I've seen a lot. And I'm not telling you this to validate myself to you guys necessarily. I'm just saying, again, I tell people all the time, your story matters no matter how mundane or boring you think it is. It's not. It matters to somebody because they can relate and they realize, I'm not alone. And your story is your story. Be proud of it. And I say this to you, and I need to say it to myself because I downplay my experience. I downplay the stuff that I've seen and done and gotten to do and been blessed to do. And I've got to stop doing that. So I think this year I'm going to continue interviewing people because I love their stories. At some point, I've got an interview with a political candidate, we'll say. I'm not going to say who, where, when, or how, but it's potentially coming up. I've got some therapists that I'm going to have on, but I'm also just going to tell some stories just about my life, about parenting, about being married. And hopefully you guys can just, enjoy that and relate to it and contribute. And I love hearing I love when you guys ask me questions. I love it because it gets my brain thinking. It gets my brain working. So when you guys shoot me a message and you're like, "Hey, have you ever looked into this or have you ever heard of that or have you ever talked about this?" And some of the stuff I have talked about, but there's nothing wrong with revisiting it because if you're asking, you obviously haven't seen it. So, I need to talk about it again. So I love getting questions from you guys. I love being asked, about things. One thing that's been on my mind and heart a lot is just all the stuff going on in the world. And you got the situation in Venezuela, you got the situation in Iran, you've got this whole talk about Greenland, and you got talk about Cuba and Mexico and Colombia, and all Russia and China are always in the mix. And what are we going to do? We've got all the, are we going to go to war with somebody? But we've got all the fraud going on in, Minnesota being uncovered, and we've got people in Congress that are potentially involved. We got the Epstein files. We've got, ICE is running around deporting people and people are getting shot and, run over. And there's a lot of division and hate. And I don't know, it just really sucks. The division and hate sucks. And if I think about it too much, I start to get depressed and anxious at the same time. I'm depressed, like, this world sucks. I hate it. This country sucks. I hate it. I hate living here. Uh, and then I get anxious because I'm like, well, what's going to happen next? Are we paying taxes this year, or are we not? Like, because of all the fraud, are we boycotting taxes, or are we continuing to fund this shenanigan that is our government? Or are we? I don't. There's so much going on, and I have to be very careful to guard my mind and my heart from dwelling on it for too long, because I like to be informed. And that's one thing that I feel like I've always been that way. But being in the military, I was, privy to current events because I was always like, I need to be up to date because, like, what if something happens and I get deployed or whatever? So that's one thing that I feel like I've had to back off my intake of current events, both national, international, and whatever else. And that's just a boundary I've had to establish for myself because it causes me to in real talk, it puts me in a bad mood. I get pissy, I get angry, and my wife's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I'm just mad at the world, literally at the world." Like, I hate this place. Um, because that's all that everybody focuses on is the negative, and you never see the positive. And it's just it's frustrating and it's sad. I found myself sitting in my car today and I was watching videos of kids. I have 6 kids. I love watching kids. I love it. I love watching their innocence. I love watching their vibrance, their joy. And I was just watching these reels of these kids reacting to most of it was like, this kid gets me, and it's just this kid's like, I've just been doing so much stuff and I just need to chill and there's no time to chill. And I'm just cracking up because I'm like, man, these kids get it. And they probably, went to the store and were there for 20 minutes and they're like, my life is over. I'm so bored. And you're like, yeah, okay, hang on, kid. It's going to get worse. But I love watching kids and just seeing their reactions to things too. So I found myself watching kids and just silly videos involving a lot of children. It was just cracking me up. I was crying. I was laughing so hard at some of these videos. So I find that I have to take the time to look for the good and the funny, and just the positive. If you don't, the negative is crammed in your face. You don't have to look for it. It is blasted from the rooftops on social media, on TV, on the radio, billboards, maybe not billboards, but I mean, it feels like it's everywhere. And you have to be very careful to guard your heart and your mind, because if you just keep letting that in and it's just a constant inflow of negative, you're going to get negative out. You're going to not be able to sleep. You're going to have stress, anxiety, depression. And I believe wholeheartedly that the reason more people are depressed nowadays is because of unlimited access to the news and current events and what's goings on around the country, around the city, around the world. And it's just a constant bombardment of negative. Think about being a farmer in the 17th century. So like the 1600s, 1700s, something like that. Like, you've moved to America and you're a settler out, in the Midwest, and you're, just hanging out and you're living your life and you're farming, you're raising your family. The only negative news you would get would be through like a courier or a newspaper or the mail, whatever. And, they show up and they're like, hey, here's a letter from your mom. Oh, okay. oh, your dad passed away. And it's like, okay, well, I'm obviously, I'm really sad. My dad passed away. You either make a trip to go see your mother, or you're like, well, sorry, mom, I live, a couple hundred miles away and I've only got one wagon and I'm not bringing my whole family to, wherever. But the thing is you didn't go and turn on the TV and watch negative, negative, negative news. You didn't open your phone and see negative news, negative news, negative news. You didn't turn on the radio and just listen to, oh, there was another shooting, there was a stabbing, there was a bombing, we bombed another country, we've invaded another country, there's a war over here, there's a war over there. The Bible talks about in the end times there being wars and rumors of wars. And it's like, people just being at each other's throats and, division. And it's like, he's talking about the end times, and it's like, well, everyone is like mad about something, it seems like. But I mean, just imagine how peaceful life would have been just 200-300 years ago. And even more recent than that. Like, think about, I mean, even 100 years ago, you may have had, again, like, your only access to current events was like newspapers. So you had to like walk down to the store or to the street corner and buy a newspaper and then read it. And it was like, okay. And if you want to get new events, so once you've read it, right, like you're done intaking negative and it's like, okay, I'm back to living my life normally and ignoring the rest of the planet. How often do we just pick up our phone and just scroll and scroll and scroll? And that's why they call it doom scrolling, because it's like, it's just negative all the time. And I can't even imagine how peaceful life that long ago, not even that long ago, just worrying about. And again, I understand they had their own worries and their own troubles. I get it. What I'm saying is they didn't have a constant bombardment of negative information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say they were less stressed. I can't say that. But you can look at statistics about mental health and see in the last 80 years or so, mental health has just been, and obviously smartphones and social media haven't been around that long, so there's more to it. But that constant bombardment of negative information absolutely plays a large hand in the decline of mental health. I gotta turn that light back on. So all that to say, stop doom scrolling on your phone. Go read a book. Go outside. Go for a walk. That was just something I've been dealing with, was just a lot of the negative goings on and just hearing about it all the time. Because there's always something going on, always something bad happening. There's always something good happening too. We just never hear about it. Yeah. So my advice to myself and to you would be, reduce the negative flow of information, or the flow of negative information into your brain, and find a way to counterbalance it with positive information. And less negative in, less negative out. That goes for nutrition and, music and just all that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I know this is kind of an odd episode. I'm talking and I'm trying to just see where things are going. And I wanted to let you guys know about the reason I've been kind of off as far as, haven't done any interviews lately and stuff. It's just the holidays. We're just kind of now getting back on track with the year. And it's, we're getting there. It's just the holidays and that job opportunity being presented to me really threw a wrench in everything. So we're getting back at it. We're back on the wagon, and we're gonna keep making it happen. But I love you guys. I'm here for you guys. I'm not going anywhere, and I will see you next week, and I will have a topic planned out. And and we'll get back on it. But I love you guys. I really do. I'll see you guys next week. Hey guys, quick reminder, if you enjoyed the episode today, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, go to whatever platform you listen to these podcasts on and leave a review. That's the best way to help us out. It gets a lot more traffic to us. So again, if you liked it, like, subscribe, and leave a review. All right. Love you guys.